Morning everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I am going to make Alabama loaf bread. It's a recipe from my sister-in-law from her friends down in Alabama. It's a great recipe. I'm also going to experiment with the same recipe using oat flour and make a grainy bread with flaxseed and oats and some various other grains in it. I'm going to make Kaiser rolls. Also going to make a gluten-free banana nut bread. Mountain Boy comes home Tuesday, so there may possibly still be some of that left over when he gets home, and he likes that, so I'll make that gluten-free. With the bread recipes that I'm going to make today, there is a lot of time involved as far as letting them rise. So what I am going to do is mix up some of the basic ingredients and do step-by-step through the recipes with you. But I'm going to shut you off here and there just so that it's not an excessively long video. I just want you to get the gist of being able to make the breads and the rolls and learning how to work with yeast. These recipes are fantastic. You can eliminate the rising time or eliminate some of it. However, your breads won't turn out as nice. I've done it in rushes. I've made my breads and didn't let them rise as long as they needed to, and they just don't turn out as nice. And I do try to set a day aside to make the breads. There have been times where I've made 12 loaves of various different breads just so that we have them on hand or I can freeze them. So I am going to get these batters started and jump back and explain to you what I've done, and then we will continue to go from there. All right. Hey guys, I wanted to jump back in here. I'm working with my yeast right now and getting my basic ingredients in for my breads and the rolls. And it made me think of something. Yesterday in my pizza dough recipe, I mentioned that yeast can go bad. I didn't give a time frame on that, and quite honestly, I'm not quite sure. If it's kept in a cool, dry place, your yeast will last for a while, but we go through it so much that it never ever gets a chance to go bad. And I do store all of our dry goods for baking either in a 5-gallon bucket or in a Rubbermaid tote downstairs. It keeps the bugs and the mice out, and that's like my stash, and then I just refill my jars up here. Same with flours. Actually, here in my kitchen I have a 5-gallon bucket of gluten-free flour and a 5-gallon bucket of regular wheat flour. We make everything from scratch, so I'm constantly using flour for something. But I wanted to just mention that it can go bad if it sits in your cupboard or it's not kept in a cool, dry place. It'll go bad after a while, and it won't allow your breads to rise. Something else I wanted to mention is that on the recipes it'll call for 2 packages of active dry yeast, or a package. You can buy the packages in the store individually. I buy everything in bulk, so I've got gobs of yeast, and I measured it out. It's roughly a tablespoon. It's a little less than a tablespoon is what is in one of the packages. So I am becoming my mother in the aspect that when my mother always cooked, she'd just throw ingredients in and that was that, and you'd ask her for a recipe and she couldn't give you one. And I'm finding that I'm doing the same thing where I just kind of improvise. I use a basic recipe, but I start adding my own stuff. But and when you start using the same recipe over and over again, you tend to know it by heart. You don't even need it, and you just start throwing all your ingredients together. But I've got the yeast in. I've also got bananas that I'm mashing in the other bowl here. I'm just accustomed to doing, if I'm going to bake and I'm going to be in my kitchen, I'm going to mass produce just so I can take care of my guys. My guys are big eaters, so we go through a lot of food, and I got to try to keep up with the demands. So I'm going to continue adding ingredients. I am with the breads and the rolls. The breads are pretty much the same as the pizza dough, where you add your sugar, your yeast, your salt, your warm water, and you let it sponge. Now, the Kaiser rolls are a little different. Instead of it has a little bit of sugar, but it also calls for malt powder. And I don't have malt powder on hand, but I do have molasses, and I substitute for molasses. But I'm going to get these all going and get them sponging. And while they're sponging, I'm going to get my banana bread ready here. And then I will jump back and provide you with some further information. On my web, at the end of this video, I will provide a link to my website where you can print off these recipes, and any tips that I may give you will probably be posted on there as well. I just thought there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to make breads, because what'll happen is you make a bread once and something doesn't go right, your yeast isn't good or whatever, and you don't give it a try again. But fresh made bread is awesome. I am a starch girl, and I have a very hard time giving up my starches. My breads are one of my favorites, and there's nothing better than that smell wafting through your house, of bread baking. And right now it is April 13th, and it is snowing today, so I'm inside and I'm enjoying being in the kitchen here, and it's nice and toasty in here. So I'll just continue doing what I'm doing here, and I'll jump back and provide you with further information then.